In the dark emptiness of space, Admiral Vexthor stood on the command deck of the Draconian flagship. His scaled hands clasped behind his back as he stared at the blue planet on the view screen. Earth, the next world that would join the great Draconian Empire. "Admiral, all ships report ready," said the communications officer. Vexthor nodded. His yellow eyes narrowed. "Excellent. Begin the approach. Maintain cloaking until we reach lunar orbit." Across the command deck, Fleet Captain Krasanar frowned. He was younger than most officers of his rank, with darker green scales and a reputation for asking too many questions. "Admiral, if I may speak freely," Krasanar said, "our intelligence on this planet seems incomplete. We have only analyzed their broadcast signals and a few probe flybys. Perhaps we should—" "Are you questioning the Imperial Intelligence Service, Captain?" Vexthor interrupted. His tail swished with irritation. "No, Admiral. I simply suggest caution. These humans show unusual patterns in their development." Vexthor laughed. "They fight among themselves over patches of dirt and invisible borders. They have barely touched their own moon. Their weapons are primitive. What is there to fear?" Krasanar bowed his head. "As you say, Admiral. The great engines of the 700 Draconian ships hummed to life. The invasion fleet moved forward, invisible to Earth's primitive sensors." At the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, Lily Bennett rubbed her tired eyes. The night shift was always long, but she loved the quiet, just her and the stars. She took a sip of coffee and looked back at her monitor. Something was wrong. The data patterns were off. There was a strange shadow in the readings from the area around the moon. She checked her equipment, but everything seemed to be working fine. Lily picked up her phone and called her colleague. "Frank, it's Lily. I think you need to see this." Frank Morales arrived 20 minutes later, his hair messy from sleep. He looked at Lily's screen and frowned. "Could be a glitch," he said. "I've run 3 system checks," Lily replied. "It's not a glitch." Frank scratched his chin. "If it's not a glitch and it's not a natural phenomenon, then what is it?" Lily finished his thought. They stared at each other. Neither wanted to say the word out loud. "Aliens. We need to call NASA," Frank said finally, "and probably the Pentagon too." Greg Solomon was eating a sandwich in his NASA office when the call came in. He listened carefully, asked a few questions, and then sat in silence for a long moment. "Send me the data," he said finally. "I'll look at it right away." When the files arrived, Greg's heart beat faster. The patterns were clear to him. These weren't random shadows or equipment errors. They showed energy signatures, artificial energy signatures, and they were massive. He picked up his secure phone and dialed. "This is Solomon from NASA. Get me the Joint Chiefs. Now." Colonel Kate Hudson was not having a good day. First, her coffee machine broke. Then her car wouldn't start. Now she was being called into an emergency meeting at the Pentagon about possible alien contact. "Run that by me again," she said, looking at the nervous NASA engineer on the video screen. "The patterns suggest at least 500 large objects in orbit around the far side of the moon," Greg Solomon explained. "They're giving off energy, signatures unlike anything we've ever recorded, and they're moving in formation." The room fell silent. "How long until they could reach Earth?" asked General Miller. "At their current speed?" Greg swallowed hard. "Less than 6 hours." Kate felt a chill run down her spine. 6 hours. What could they possibly do in 6 hours to prepare for something like this? "Colonel Hudson," said the general, "I'm putting you in charge of our response team. Get whatever personnel you need." Kate nodded, her mind already racing. "Yes, sir. I'll need immediate access to our top scientists in quantum physics, astronomy, and communications." "You'll have it. Dismissed." As Kate left the room, her phone buzzed. It was a news alert. Astronomers around the world were reporting strange readings near the moon. It was already getting out. On the International Space Station, Peter Clark floated near the observation window with his camera. He had been taking pictures of Earth when he noticed something strange. A shimmer, like heat waves, moving against the star field. "Hey, Control? Are you seeing this?" he asked into his radio. "Seeing what, Peter?" came the reply. There's something. He squinted. The shimmer was taking shape now. A massive dark form was appearing, as if a cloak was being lifted. Oh my God. Peter, what is it? His hands shook as he raised his camera. Through the zoom lens he could see it clearly now. A massive ship unlike anything built on Earth, and behind it more were appearing. Dozens. Hundreds. We're not alone, he whispered. They're here. The radio crackled with urgent voices, but Peter barely heard them. He focused on taking as many pictures as possible and transmitting them to Earth. Then the station systems went dark. The last thing Peter managed to send was a close-up image of one of the ships. It showed a symbol on the hull, a stylized, reptilian eye surrounded by strange letters. In her hastily assembled office at the Pentagon, Kate Hudson looked at the image from the space station. It was the only clear picture they had before communications were cut off. What do we know about the crew on the station? She asked. They're alive, said her aide. The Russians are reporting brief contact. Whatever these visitors are, they haven't harmed anyone yet. Small comfort, Kate muttered. Dr. Elaine Cooper walked in, carrying a tablet. The quantum physicist looked like she hadn't slept in days. You asked to see me, Colonel? Kate nodded. I need your brain, Doctor. We're dealing with technology far beyond our understanding. She showed Dr. Cooper the image and the energy readings. The scientist's eyes widened. These readings, they suggest some kind of quantum field manipulation. Possibly for their propulsion system, but also what? Weapons, Dr. Cooper said quietly. Very powerful weapons. Kate took a deep breath. Then we need to prepare for the worst. We need a team. The best minds, the best soldiers. For what? Asked Dr. Cooper. What can we possibly do against this level of technology? Kate looked at the image again. I don't know yet, but I know humans don't go down without a fight. Outside, people were starting to gather in streets around the world, looking up at the sky with fear and wonder. News channels showed the same. Scenes from New York to Tokyo to London. The Draconians were about to reveal themselves, and Earth was not ready. In his moon base, Admiral Vexthor smiled as he prepared his message to the primitive humans. This would be the easiest conquest in his long career. These humans had no idea what was coming. He was wrong. The world changed at exactly 9:17 a.m. Eastern Time, when every screen on Earth showed the same face. Admiral Vexthor's yellow eyes stared out at humanity. His scaled skin gleamed under the lights of his command center. When he opened his mouth, his sharp teeth flashed. People of Earth, he said in perfect English. I am Admiral Vexthor of the Draconian Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Surrender your governments and military forces within 24 hours, or face destruction. The message played in every language, on every device. Phones, computers, televisions, digital billboards, all showed the reptilian face. Then the screens returned to normal, leaving stunned silence in homes and offices around the world. Panic followed soon after. Streets filled with people rushing to stores for supplies. Cars jammed highways as families tried to flee cities. Government hotlines crashed from too many calls. At the Pentagon, Colonel Kate Hudson watched the chaos on multiple screens. She turned to the small team she had gathered. Well, now we know what we're dealing with, she said. Dr. Elaine Cooper looked up from her computer. I've analyzed the way they took over our communications. They have incredible control over electromagnetic signals. Can you find a weakness? Kate asked. Maybe. Their technology uses quantum fields in ways we've only theorized about. But every system has flaws. Kate nodded. Find those flaws, Doctor. Our lives depend on it. The door opened and a tall man with a serious face walked in. He wore plain clothes, but his military bearing was clear. Jack Martinez, Navy SEAL, he said. I was told to report to you. Kate shook his hand. Welcome to the end of the world, Lieutenant. Not if I can help it, ma'am. A young woman with short purple hair sat in the corner, typing furiously on a laptop. Without looking up, she said, their communications use a strange encryption, but I think I can crack it. Kate raised an eyebrow. And you are? Olivia Wright. I'm the best hacker the NSA never caught, until last month. She smiled. They gave me a choice, jail or help with this. Easy choice, Kate said. Not really. Jail has better food than this place. Olivia went back to typing. But aliens are more interesting. The final member of their team arrived minutes later. Dr. Samuel Chen, a linguistics professor who had worked with the military before. I've studied the alien speech patterns, he said after introductions. The way they form sentences suggests a highly hierarchical society. Every word shows rank and position. That could be useful, Jack said. Outside the window, fighter jets streaked across the sky. Earth was preparing its defenses, however hopeless they might be. On board the Draconian flagship, Admiral Vexthor watched the humans scramble. Pathetic, he said. They run like prey animals. Captain Krasnar studied the data flowing across his screen. Their military forces are mobilizing, Admiral. Faster than expected. Let them. Their weapons are toys compared to ours. Yes, Admiral. But their communication patterns are interesting. They're coordinating between countries that were enemies just hours ago. Vexthor waved dismissively. Fear creates temporary alliances. They will break easily enough. He turned to his weapons officer. Prepare a demonstration. Target their island in the Pacific, the uninhabited one in their testing zone. Johnston Atoll, Admiral? Yes. Show them what happens to those who resist the Empire. Lily Bennett and Frank Morales had been brought to the Pentagon from Arecibo. They watched, in horror as satellite images showed a Draconian ship firing on Johnston Atoll. A beam of blue energy struck the island. When the light faded, nothing remained but boiling seawater. That was a small ship, Frank whispered. Not even one of their main vessels. The room fell silent. A destroyer from the U.S. Navy would look like a toy beside even the smallest alien craft. And the aliens had hundreds of ships. We need to buy time, Kate said. The UN is trying to open communications. If we can stall them, maybe Dr. Cooper can find something we can use. Elaine looked up from her work. I might have something already. Their shields operate on a quantum frequency that has an unusual pattern. If we could disrupt it... How? Jack asked. I'm not sure yet. But there's something else strange in their technology. It reacts oddly to water. Water? Kate asked. What do you mean? The readings from their demonstration attack show energy dispersion patterns that suggest water interferes with their system somehow. Olivia stopped typing. Wait, I think I found something in their communications. They keep referring to Earth as a dangerous water world. They seem concerned about our oceans. A plan began to form in Kate's mind. Keep working on that. All of you. The UN Security Council's emergency session was broadcast worldwide. Representatives attempted to communicate with the Draconian fleet, offering negotiations. Admiral Vexthor's response was brief. There is nothing to discuss. Surrender or be destroyed. You have 18 hours remaining. Around the world, military forces, prepared for battle. Old enemies shared information and resources. Civilians joined emergency response teams or helped strengthen shelters. In small towns and big cities, people found ways to resist. In Iowa, farmers converted their equipment to carry makeshift weapons. In Mumbai, engineers worked to shield vital systems from alien control. In Rio de Janeiro, fishing boats prepared to ferry people to safety. Alan Porter, a mechanic from Detroit, gathered his neighbors in his garage. They think we'll just roll over and give up, he said to the crowd. But that's not what humans do. Across town, Nurse Diane Miller noticed something important while watching footage of the Draconian announcement. When the camera briefly showed the inside of their ship, she saw devices that looked like air filters. Their biology must be different from ours, she told her hospital's research team. Maybe they can't handle our atmosphere directly. This information spread quickly to military channels. Every small weakness could matter. As the deadline approached, the Draconian fleet deployed smaller ships toward major cities. Their plan was clear, take control of key locations and force a quick surrender. What they didn't expect was the response. When their ships descended on New York, they found the streets nearly empty. Then apartment windows opened, and thousands of mirrors reflected sunlight directly at the ship's sensors, temporarily blinding them. In London, jammers built from modified radio equipment disrupted the aliens' communications just long enough for hidden missile batteries to fire. In Beijing, a hastily assembled EMP device knocked out the systems of a landing craft, sending it crashing into the harbor. None of these actions could win the war. But they showed the Draconians something important. Humans would not surrender easily. On the flagship, Admiral Vexthor raged as reports came in of unexpected resistance. How are these primitives causing so many problems? Increase our forces. Full ground assault. Captain Krasnar watched with growing concern. Admiral, we're seeing unusual tactics from the humans. They're not fighting like any species we've encountered before. They're fighting like they might win, Vexthor snarled. They cannot. They will not. But the seed of doubt had been planted. As the full invasion began, the Draconians would soon learn that humans were unlike any species they had ever tried to conquer, and Earth held secrets that would change everything. Day 3 of the invasion brought both hope and despair. Draconian forces had established control over parts of major cities, but they faced constant problems. Their large ships remained in orbit, while smaller craft and ground troops tried to secure important locations. Captain Krasnar stood in the science lab of the flagship, staring at a human brain scan. Science Director Zivra pointed to strange patterns in the image. "See these neural connections?" she said. "They're unlike any species we've encountered. Humans use both logical and emotional pathways together, creating unpredictable thought patterns." Krasnar frowned. "Is that why their tactics seem so random?" "Yes. They don't follow expected military doctrine. They improvise constantly." Zivra moved to another screen showing a human fighter jet that had crashed into a Draconian ship. "This pilot sacrificed himself to destroy one of our vessels. The concept of self-sacrifice for group survival appears common in humans." "Admiral, Vexthor should see this," Krasnar said. Zivra shook her head. "I sent him the report. He ignored it. He believes overwhelming force will solve everything." Krasnar's tail twitched with worry. "He's wrong." In a basement lab at the Pentagon, Dr. Elaine Cooper worked without sleep. The quantum equations on her screen would have confused most scientists, but to her they were beginning to make sense. The Draconian shields operate on a frequency that resonates with certain elements in our water, she explained to Colonel Hudson. Specifically, trace minerals found mainly in our oceans and deep groundwater. "Can we use that?" Kate asked. "Yes. I'm designing a device that can amplify this resonance. It could disrupt their shields, maybe even their ship's systems." Kate squeezed Elaine's shoulder. "Keep working. This might be our best chance." Across the room, Olivia had successfully hacked into the Draconian communication system. She wore a headset and typed rapidly. "They're planning a major push into the central United States tomorrow," she reported. "They want our farmlands intact." Jack Martinez studied a map. "Makes sense. Control the food, control the people." Dr. Chen looked up from his translations. "There's something else in their communications. They keep referring to humans as water carriers or water vessels. They seem concerned about our biology." "Nurse Miller's observation might be more important than we thought," Kate said. "If Earth's water affects their technology, maybe it affects their bodies too." A plan began to form. Kate turned to her team. "Jack, I need you to capture a Draconian soldier, alive." In Chicago, a small Draconian patrol moved through empty streets. They wore sealed armor that covered their entire bodies. Their leader, Sub-Commander Drex, checked his scanner. Life signs ahead. Multiple humans. "Should we capture them for processing?" asked a soldier. "Yes." "The Admiral wants human test subjects." They moved toward an old warehouse. Inside, they found what appeared to be frightened civilians huddled together. "Surrender now," Drex ordered. "We surrender," said an old man, stepping forward with his hands up. "Please don't hurt us." The Draconians moved in to secure the humans. They didn't notice the small devices hidden around the warehouse until it was too late. Suddenly, water sprayed from all directions. Not just any water, salt water mixed with specific minerals. The liquid seeped into tiny gaps in their armor. Where it touched Draconian skin, it burned like acid. The soldiers panicked, some firing wildly, others trying to retreat. Hidden figures in waterproof gear emerged from hiding places. They moved with military precision, Navy SEALs led by Jack Martinez. "Take that one," Jack ordered, pointing to the commander who was struggling with his damaged armor. Minutes later, the SEAL team had captured Sub-Commander Drex and eliminated the rest of the patrol. They transported their prisoner to a secure facility where Dr. Cooper and Dr. Chen waited. The captured Draconian was careful not to speak at first, but when presented with evidence that his fleet had abandoned him, he began to cooperate. "Your water," Drex finally admitted. "The minerals in it react with our biology. It burns our skin and damages our lungs if we breathe air with too much moisture." "Earth is 70% water," Dr. Chen said. "Your leaders must have known this would be a problem. They knew but didn't care. They thought our technology would protect us. They didn't expect you to exploit this weakness so quickly." Dr. Cooper smiled. "You underestimated humans. We're good at finding weaknesses." Admiral Vexthor was furious. Reports from all over Earth showed unexpected problems. Human resistance was growing stronger, not weaker. Several ground units had gone silent. 3 smaller ships had been lost. "How is this possible?" he raged. "They should be begging for mercy by now." "Their neural structure makes them unpredictable," Captain Krasnar said, showing him Science Director Zivra's report. "And they're exploiting our biological vulnerability to their planet's water." "Nonsense. Our armor protects us." "Not completely, Admiral. They're finding the gaps. And they've captured Sub-Commander Drex. We must assume they now know our weaknesses." Vexthor slammed his fist on the console. "Then we will strike harder. Prepare the main fleet to attack their largest cities directly." "Admiral, I must officially recommend caution," Krasnar said. "Several captains share my concerns." Vexthor's eyes narrowed. "Are you challenging my authority, Captain?" "No, Admiral. I am trying to prevent a disaster. On Earth, humanity's coordinated response grew stronger each day. Submarines hidden in the depths launched missiles at Draconian ships. Fighter jets now equipped with water dispersal bombs targeted landing parties. In her lab, Dr. Cooper finished her quantum disruptor device. It was smaller than expected, about the size of a microwave oven. "This will disrupt their shields within a 5-mile radius," she explained to Colonel Hudson. "But we need to build hundreds more to make a real difference." "We'll build them," Kate promised. "Every factory that can still operate is now working for us." Olivia looked up from her computer. "I've planted false information in their communication system. They think we're concentrating our forces in New York and Los Angeles." "Good," Kate said. "That should buy us time." Outside, a 12-year-old boy named Joey Baker was walking with his father past the Pentagon. He stopped suddenly, looking up at the sky where Draconian ships hovered. "Dad, they're like the bugs we get in summer," he said. "What do you mean, son?" "You know how we set out water traps for bugs? They're attracted to the water, but it kills them." His father stared at him for a long moment, then rushed to a nearby soldier. "My son has an idea you need to hear." Simple observations from a child would soon become a key part of Earth's defense strategy. The Draconians had studied Earth's militaries and governments, but they had overlooked something important. Human creativity knows no age limit. As day 3 of the invasion ended, the tide was beginning to turn. Humans were not the easy conquest the Draconians had expected. They were proving to be the most dangerous species the Empire had ever encountered. 1 week into the invasion, Joey Baker's simple idea had become a powerful weapon. All across the world, humans set up what they called water traps. They used everything from crop dusters to fire trucks to create mist zones around Draconian landing sites. The water contained the exact minerals that were most harmful to the aliens. Colonel Kate Hudson watched footage of a Draconian patrol retreating from a small town in Kansas, where farmers had modified irrigation systems to spray the aliens. It's working, she said to her team. But we need something bigger to take out their main fleet. Dr. Elaine Cooper nodded. The quantum disruptors are being built in every factory we still control. We have almost 50 now, but we'll need hundreds to affect the entire fleet. And we need a way to get them into position, Jack Martinez added. The Draconians control too much airspace. Olivia looked up from her computer. I might have a solution for that. I've been analyzing their patrol patterns. There are gaps we could exploit. Dr. Chen studied the star chart on the wall. There's something else we should consider. The Draconians haven't called for reinforcements. Maybe they don't need them, Jack suggested. Or maybe they can't, Chen said. What if they're not supposed to be here? What if this invasion wasn't fully authorized by their empire? Kate considered this. Admiral Vexthor does seem eager for a quick victory, almost desperate. If we could communicate directly with their high command, Chen began. We'd need a way to send a message that bypasses Vexthor, Olivia finished. I'm working on it, but their long-range communications are heavily encrypted. Kate turned to the window. Outside she could see a Draconian ship hovering over the distant city skyline. Keep working. We need every advantage we can get. On the Draconian flagship, Captain Krasnar received disturbing reports. More ground forces had been lost to the humans' water traps. 3 more ships had been damaged by the strange devices the humans were deploying. He took the reports to Admiral Vexthor, who was meeting with his senior officers. Admiral, we've lost contact with our forces in what the humans call the Midwest, Krasnar reported. And our ships over their Atlantic Ocean are reporting shield failures. Vexthor's scales darkened with anger. How are these primitives doing this? Their technology should be no match for ours. They're not using technology as we understand it, Krasnar explained. They're using our own weaknesses against us. Their water damages our systems and hurts our troops, and they've developed devices that disrupt our quantum shields. Impossible. They couldn't understand our quantum technology so quickly. Science Director Zivra stepped forward. They seem to have an intuitive understanding of quantum physics that surpasses many species we've encountered. Their scientist, called Cooper, has made advances in days that would take our researchers years, Ground Commander Belthar growled. Their fighting style makes no sense. They don't follow proper military doctrine. They change tactics constantly. They use civilian equipment as weapons. Vexthor slammed his tail against the floor. I don't want excuses. I want results. Prepare the main fleet weapons. We will destroy their major military bases from orbit. Krasnar exchanged worried glances with Zivra. Such an attack would kill millions of humans and likely destroy much of Earth's surface. Admiral, Krasnar said carefully, such an attack would violate Imperial protocols for planet acquisition. The Emperor wants this world's resources intact. The Emperor will understand when I explain the threat these humans pose. Vexthor hissed. Prepare the weapons. As the officers left to carry out their orders, Krasnar stayed behind. Admiral, I must formally protest this course of action, he said. Vexthor stared at him with cold eyes. Your protest is noted, Captain. Now follow your orders, or I will find someone who will. Back on Earth, Major Lisa Reeves led a team of Special Forces soldiers through the shadows near a downed Draconian ship. They moved silently, their equipment covered to hide their heat signatures. Remember, Lisa whispered to her team, we need their navigation systems intact. Don't damage the main computer. They had trained for this mission for days. If they could capture a Draconian ship's navigation system, Dr. Cooper might be able to locate the flagship's exact position. The crashed ship was guarded by 6 Draconian soldiers. They wore full protective suits to shield them from Earth's moist air. Lisa signaled to her team. They activated devices that released a specific frequency, one that Dr. Cooper had discovered would interfere with Draconian communications. The guards' helmets filled with static noise, disorienting them. In that moment of confusion, Lisa's team attacked. They used weapons loaded with special water-based ammunition. The guards fell quickly, their protective suits compromised. Move, fast, Lisa ordered. We have 10 minutes before their backup arrives. Inside the ship, they found what they were looking for, the navigation computer. A technician quickly disconnected it and packed it into a special container. "Got it," he said. "Let's go." They escaped just as Draconian reinforcements arrived. Minutes later, they were in a helicopter heading back to base. The precious navigation system secure. Dr. Cooper worked through the night to understand the Draconian navigation system. By morning, she had news for Colonel Hudson. "Their flagship is directly above North America," she said, pointing to a holographic map. "Here in high orbit, it's coordinating all their operations." Kate studied the map. "Can we reach it?" "Not with conventional vehicles," Elaine admitted. "But I've been studying the crashed ship. I think we can modify one of our space shuttles to approach undetected, using aspects of their own cloaking technology." "What good would one shuttle do against their flagship?" Jack asked. Elaine smiled. "One shuttle carrying a large quantum disruptor targeted at their main power core? It could disable the entire ship." "A single point of failure," Kate said. "Every system has one." Olivia burst into the room, her face excited. "I did it. I cracked their long-range communication encryption. We can send a message directly to their empire." "What should we say?" asked Dr. Chen. Kate thought for a moment. "The truth. That Admiral Vexthor is violating their protocols, destroying resources they want to preserve, and losing ships and soldiers to a species they underestimated." The team worked quickly to compose the message. They had no way of knowing if it would be received or how the Draconian Empire might respond. But it gave them another chance, another possibility. On the flagship, Captain Krasnar made a difficult decision. After witnessing Admiral Vexthor order the destruction of major human cities against Imperial protocol, he quietly gathered officers who shared his concerns. "This invasion has become a disaster," he told them in a secure room. "The Admiral is blinded by pride. He will destroy this planet rather than admit he underestimated the humans." "What can we do?" asked a ship commander. "Challenging the Admiral is treason. Allowing him to destroy a valuable world is worse," Krasnar replied. "I've studied human broadcasts. They're willing to negotiate. They don't want to destroy us." Science Director Zivra nodded. "These humans are unlike any species we've encountered. They could be valuable allies rather than conquered subjects." Krasnar looked at each officer in turn. "I'm planning to contact the Emperor directly, but I need your support." One by one, they agreed. They would have to move carefully. Vexthor had loyal officers who would report any hint of mutiny. As the meeting ended, Krasnar didn't know that humans had already sent their own message to the Draconian Empire. Events were moving quickly toward a final confrontation. Admiral Vexthor stood on the command deck of his flagship, watching Earth through the viewscreen. His plan was ready. In 1 hour, the fleet would fire on all major human military installations. The resulting destruction would force the humans to surrender. He would return to the Empire victorious despite the unexpected difficulties. "Admiral," said a nervous communications officer, "we're receiving a direct transmission from the Imperial Palace." Vexthor's scales paled. "The Emperor? Here? Now?" "Yes, Admiral. It appears someone has sent a message to the Imperial Court about our situation here." Before Vexthor could respond, the large viewscreen changed. The ancient, dark-scaled face of Emperor Zexkar filled the screen. His eyes were cold and reptilian. "Admiral Vexthor," the Emperor said, "explain yourself." Vexthor bowed deeply. "My Emperor, I am securing this world for your glory. The humans have shown unexpected resistance, but—" "I have received 2 messages," the Emperor interrupted. "One from the humans themselves, showing remarkable ability to crack our encryptions. The other from officers in your own fleet. Both claim you are violating Imperial protocols and risking destruction of valuable resources." "My Emperor, these humans are dangerous. They must be subdued with force." "You classified Earth as a Class 3 primitive world," the Emperor said. "Yet they have adapted to fight our technology in days. They have exploited weaknesses we didn't know we had. This is not the behavior of a primitive species." Captain Krasnar entered the command deck, followed by several officers and Science Director Zivra. "The humans are indeed remarkable, Emperor," Krasnar said, bowing. "Their neural structures allow for creativity and adaptation beyond any species we have encountered. They could be valuable allies rather than conquered subjects." "Traitor!" Vexthor hissed at Krasnar. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. "Admiral, you are relieved of command. Captain Krasnar will take control of the fleet. You will return to face Imperial judgment." "No." Vexthor drew his weapon and fired at the screen, shattering it. "I will not be humiliated by primitives. Launch the attack now." Loyal officers moved to obey, but Krasnar had been prepared for this. Security forces that supported him rushed onto the command deck. A brief but violent struggle followed. In the chaos, Vexthor managed to activate the weapons system. "Target Earth's major cities," he ordered. "Fire." On Earth, Colonel Kate Hudson watched the space shuttle Resilience lift off. It carried Dr. Cooper's largest quantum disruptor, designed to disable the Draconian flagship. If it failed, Earth had few options left. Beside her, Olivia monitored Draconian communications. "Something's happening up there," she said. "I'm picking up what sounds like fighting." "Fighting? Among themselves?" Kate asked. Jack Martinez looked up from the tactical display. "Could be our message got through." Suddenly, alarms blared. The radar showed energy buildups in the Draconian fleet. "They're powering weapons," a technician shouted. "How long until the shuttle reaches the flagship?" Kate asked. 10 minutes at least," another officer replied. "That's too long," Kate said quietly. "Activate all quantum disruptors. Target their weapons signatures." Around the world, humans activated the devices Dr. Cooper had designed. 50 quantum disruptors, positioned at strategic locations, all aimed at the Draconian fleet. They weren't as powerful as the one on the shuttle, but together they might buy some time. On the flagship, Vexthor fought his way to the main weapons control. The ship shuddered as weapons charged. "You're too late, Krasnar," he shouted. "I will show the Emperor why these humans must be destroyed." Krasnar and his security team cornered Vexthor. "Stand down, Admiral. This has gone too far." "No. I will." Vexthor's words cut off as the ship suddenly lurched violently. Warning lights flashed across all control panels. The weapons system began to overload. "What's happening?" Krasnar demanded. Science Director Zivra checked the readings. "Quantum disruption from the planet's surface. It's affecting our shields and weapons systems. The energy is being redirected back into our own ships." Vexthor stared in horror as his carefully planned attack collapsed. "Impossible." In space, the shuttle Resilience approached the Draconian flagship. The pilot, a former astronaut named Peter Clark, maneuvered carefully to avoid detection. In the cargo bay, a team of engineers prepared the large quantum disruptor. "We're in position," Peter radioed to Earth, preparing to deploy the device. The shuttle's bay doors opened. The quantum disruptor, now active, sent invisible waves of energy toward the flagship. The effect was immediate and dramatic. On the flagship's command deck, systems failed in cascading sequence. The quantum disruption from Earth, combined with the more powerful device from the shuttle, created an effect no one had anticipated. "The quantum field is collapsing," Zivra shouted. "It's creating a dimensional rift." Krasnar watched in amazement, as a strange glow surrounded all the ships in the fleet. He rushed to the emergency controls and initiated a complete power shutdown on his own vessel, the only thing that might save them from whatever was happening. "All ships, shut down all systems immediately," he ordered over the emergency channel, but it was too late for most of the fleet. On Earth, people stared at the sky in wonder. The Draconian ships were glowing with strange blue light. Then, one by one, they simply vanished. It wasn't an explosion or destruction. They just disappeared, as if they had never been there. In the Pentagon Command Center, the radar screen showed the impossible. Almost the entire Draconian fleet had vanished. "What just happened?" Kate asked. Dr. Chen stared at the readings. "The quantum disruptors must have created some kind of dimensional shift. They're not destroyed, They're just somewhere else now. Where? Jack asked. Another dimension? Another reality? We can't know for sure. Olivia pointed to her screen. One ship remains. It's powering down all systems. 6 months later, Colonel Kate Hudson, now General Hudson, stood in a large hangar. Before her sat Earth's first faster-than-light ship, built with technology learned from the Draconians. It was named Unity, symbolizing how the invasion had brought humanity together. Beside her stood Captain Krasnar, now the official ambassador from the Draconian Empire to Earth. His decision to shut down his ship's systems had saved it from the dimensional shift that took the rest of the fleet. The Emperor sends his respect to the people of Earth, Krasnar said, and his apologies for Admiral Vexthor's actions. Where do you think they ended up? Kate asked. The rest of your fleet? We don't know. Our scientists believe they exist, in a pocket dimension unable to return. A fitting end for Vexthor, perhaps. Dr. Elaine Cooper approached them, accompanied by Jack Martinez, Olivia Wright, and Dr. Chen. They had all been appointed to lead Earth's new space program. The ship is ready for its first test flight, Elaine said. Kate nodded. Humanity is ready to join the galactic community. Krasnar looked at the humans around him with newfound respect. The Empire has reclassified Earth. You are now a Class 8 world. Approach with extreme caution. Kate smiled. I think we can live with that. In the far reaches of a pocket dimension, Admiral Vexthor stood on the damaged command deck of a Z flagship. The fleet was intact but stranded, unable to return to normal space. On his view screen was the last image captured before the shift, the blue planet Earth. Vexthor finally understood what had happened. The Empire had faced many species across the galaxy, conquering 37 worlds. But humans were different. Their minds worked in ways that defied Draconian understanding. Their creativity, adaptability, and determination made them more dangerous than any advanced technology. The Admiral had thought he was hunting simple prey. Instead, he had awakened, a planet of predators. And now the galaxy would know, humans are not to be underestimated.